Hello and welcome back to Vet Talks. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about when we were in Iraq. This is like 2003. I talked about it in one of my other videos about how we had pushed in and we were staying at, we took over one of Saddam Hussein's palaces. And while we were there, I mean, nobody was happy we were there, number one. So the enemy kept shooting artillery or mortars into the palace area. Um, they would shoot RPGs at the gate, and every time something went off, they would always call on the Quick Reaction Force, which is what we were. We were part of the QRF, Quick Reaction Force, and so we actually had a phone a long time ago. I guess I want to say like World War II, they would have these phones where you had the wire was attached to the phone. You would stick in some D batteries, and I guess back then they would crank them to get a charge or whatever. But in any case, we had our own little phone. So whenever they needed us to get a hold of us real quick, just kind of like our bat phone, I guess. So they would call us up and, hey, we need you, got hit at the gate, go out there. And so we were used to, going out and dealing with situations. And a lot of times, part of our job was presence patrol. We would drive around at night, showing that we're there. And they had these curfews that we had to enforce and stuff like that. So we were used to, we would be on one side of the river. They would shoot at us from the other side. And we'd go to that side and they would shoot at us from the. So it was, I don't know, like a cat and mouse game with these people sometimes. But, there was I'll tell some more stories about that one. But I do want to talk about an incident that happened. So we get a call. We get a call, and we're in Ramadi. Ramadi is close to Fallujah, and we were in charge of basically our unit was basically in charge of both of those areas, Ramadi and Fallujah. But we're in Ramadi, and we get a call, and they tell us to, you guys are going to go out into the desert. It was an F-16. It went down by Fallujah, out in the desert by Fallujah, and we need you to hurry up, get out there, and we need you to secure the pilot, and after that, we're going to have you secure the wreck site. So we're taking off. We got our Humvees, and we had a trailer that we attached to one of the Humvees, and in the trailer we had some water, some MREs, some provisions. We don't know how long we're going to be out there. So we're taking off, and we're given the location of where the pilot's supposed to be at. So we're going and going and going, and we're going out in the desert. We kind of left when it was daylight. By the time we get to the location of where the ejection seat's at, because when you eject out of a F-16, the whole seat comes out, and it's a parachute comes down, and that's where the pilot's at. So we get there, and the pilot's gone, and so we call up. At this point, we're having to use a satellite radio. Now, normally you would on a regular radio you can call, and as long as it's kind of like a I think we had like if you had walkie-talkies. Walkie-talkies are great in short distance. You can talk to each other, but from further distance, you're not going to be able to talk because even with regular radios, you only have so many miles you can go before you're just too far. You're out of range. So they had this particular radio that we took with us, and what it is you got to point it up to the sky, and you got to point it to a certain direction, and it's going to send the signal up, bounce off some satellite, and bring it down, to the other people that are receiving it. And when you talk on this radio, you can't talk normal speed. You have to talk really slow, like, "Hey, we are here. Over." You have to talk like really slow and really deliberate. Otherwise, it'll just scramble. Like you get this weird because you're talking too fast. I guess the amount of data or whatever the however it works. I don't know all the technicals about that, but so we get there and we let them know, hey, look, pilot's not here. So no problem. We got some helicopter went in there and grabbed them. So like, okay, here's the location of where where the jet's going to be at. All right, we need you to go over there and secure it because there's a lot of sensitive information, a lot of sensitive equipment on the jet, and we just can't be just letting it get into enemy hands. So we go to the location of the crash site, and there's big chunks of this jet. I mean, this jet came in, and it still had its bomb. It had a 1,000-pound bomb still strapped to it. So that sucker's still there. You got all this, all this stuff, but like even there's a Gatling gun on the F-16, that shoots these big bullets, right? And even that, it was kind of weird because because normally it has all these barrels, right? It has all these barrels and they spin, and you could see it, and it was just all bent out. The barrels were all bent, but it was still there. So there's pretty much a lot of it was intact. So we're anticipating, okay, there's a big boom. It's going to get a lot of people's attention. They're going to come for it. So we're out there, and the only way we have communication is with this satellite radio, right? So like I said, so every now and then we would call and, tell them, hey, we give them updates, We're only supposed to be out there for 2 days. They said, don't worry about it. Air Force is going to only need you out there for 2 days to secure the site, and they're going to come and relieve you, and they're going to have their own guards come out. So, no problem. We got supplies for 2 days, I think within the first day, the second day, got a sandstorm. So, a majority of the guys had, taken their doors off because that was one of the things is that, it's so hot and our doors come off our Humvees. So we don't have up armor. This is regular Humvees. So you can take them off. And for whatever reason, I left my door on. I'm the driver. So I left my door on and this sandstorm's coming through. And I remember I'm laughing because everybody else took off their doors, and they're getting all this sand all over them, and I'm sitting there and I got my door and I got my window up and I made myself a little I had a sleeping mat, so I put a little wall here, got this, and I was just, and it ended up being, it was I had a book, Bravo 20 was the book. It was about some British special forces guys that got stuck in Iraq during they got captured in Iraq during the original Gulf War or whatever. So I'm reading this book about being captured, and we're in a situation we could easily get captured if the enemy knew how to do it just right. And so we're in this sandstorm. You can't see anything in the sandstorm. So it's like this is a perfect opportunity for them to come and surround us. So so we're out there, and we're doing our daily checks and let them know, hey, no contact, still out here. So 2 days go by. Nobody comes in. Hey, what's the status of these guys coming in? Well, yeah, you know what? We're gonna need you to stay out there a couple more days. Okay, we got some supplies. We got some food, water. We can, no problem. Okay. So we get bored. We're getting bored. So what are we gonna do when we get bored? We're gonna look for some camel spiders. Because camel spiders, these big nasty spiders, And I remember I used to sleep on top of the hood, and every time I would have to get off to go pee, I would walk out. I'll just walk out, in the middle of the night or whatever. I'll just go out, just pee somewhere, right? And my team chief was like, you got to be careful because those camel spiders will chase you. And so I started to observe, like, let's see what's going on, because it's all rocky. It looks like maybe like what Mars would look like, a bunch of rocks, sand, or whatever. And so you're walking around, and all of a sudden you do see something that moves, and you realize that they do start to chase you. They start, as you move, they move. I guess because camel spiders, jump on camels. So they're used to, they're not afraid of big things. So we're out there, and we end up capturing, I think we got a camel spider, and then we got a scorpion, and we put them in an empty MRE box and let them fight it out. Like I said, we're bored, we're like, whatever. And so we're out there, and we're playing, we're basically just playing the waiting game. When are these guys going to show up? When are these guys going to show up? So the 5 days goes by. All of a sudden, we're running out of food. We're running out of water. We didn't bring much, and maybe we had enough for like about that moment. And so we're calling them up, and we're like, hey, look, you know what? We're about to run out of food. We're about to run out of water here. So like, okay, no problem. We're going to get a hold of the Air Force and see if they can come in and bring in a Chinook helicopter and bring in some supplies. And I'm still wondering, we were only supposed to be here for a minute, so why are they leaving us out here? Why aren't they coming out and relieving us with some of their guys? So they come out and they bring us some supplies. It ends up being we're out there for 10 days straight securing this thing. Then they end up, they come out with some of their EOD guys, and they're gonna take all the important parts of the F-16, and they're gonna blow up that 1,000-pound bomb. They're gonna use that to blow up all the sensitive stuff. So they rig it all up. They're ready to explode, and we all move far away, and they blow it up. Then later on, we find out why they left us out there for so long. So when they had debriefed the pilot, there is a backup engine. So when you lose, because an F-16 only has one engine, and when that engine, no longer functions, there's this backup engine, and the backup engine will give you an additional 2 minutes of flight, and it's based off of this, I guess some radioactive material or something. I'm not too familiar with how this works, but that's what they told us. It basically, they had to debrief the pilot and determine whether he burned the fuel, right? This radioactive material, whatever it was. And so that's why they left us out there. We're already out there. We're already exposed to this chemical. And they didn't want to expose additional personnel and what have you. So it's kind of funny, when you really find the real reason why they left us in this situation. We did end up getting an Air Force medal out of it. I thought it was really cool, But it was just one of those situations where, if you really knew the truth of a lot of your missions, you'd be surprised. And this one was one of those situations, Thank God we didn't encounter any enemy. Thank God it went smooth. Thank God the pilot was taken care of, because that was the main mission, was making sure that the pilot was taken care of. But, it's just one of those things, you can take a mundane situation of being shot at back at your old base. You can take a mundane situation where you got to constantly be chasing the bad guys, and they're playing this cat and mouse game to where they put you in this situation, and you're just sitting there playing with, insects to pass the time. But in the end, you know what? It was a successful mission. The guy made it out, and that's all that mattered. All right, with that being said, I'll talk to y'all later.